Welcome to Plot Tales Daily, dramatic Reddit stories with crazy endings? Then you're in the right channel. I'm on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Hit subscribe and join. It's free. You won't want to miss what story is coming next. I, 25F, think my boyfriend, 29M, is cheating, but I don't know how to confront him. We've been together for just over a month now, and things already feel off. He never officially asked me to be his girlfriend. One day he just started calling me that, saying how much he liked me, and I went along with it because, honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing when it comes to relationships. I've never done this before. Everything seemed okay at first, but then my friend showed me something that completely messed with my head. 10 days into us dating, she found his profile still active on the dating app where we met. She matched with him just to test it out. That same night, I was at his place celebrating his birthday. While he was in the bathroom, she sent me a screenshot of their chat. He wasn't flirting or anything, just small talk, but still, why the hell was he even there? When he came back out, he kissed me like nothing was wrong. I couldn't say anything. I felt like I'd sound crazy. A few days later, he casually asked if I deleted the app. He noticed it on my screen once because of some stupid ad. I lied and said I had. I thought maybe I was being too paranoid, so I let it go. But then just last weekend, I noticed something that pushed me over the edge. While he was in the shower, I saw his laptop open on the desk. He always closes it, but this time he left it up. A chat app was open, and I could see messages from someone saying, "Good morning." The name wasn't familiar, and there was another chat from a few days earlier with another girl. I didn't open them. I didn't even touch the computer. I just stared at the screen, frozen. And then he called out, asking if I'd seen his shaving cream. That same day, he took down the pictures of us from his fridge, saying his mom was coming over and she'd ask too many questions. Also, I found a ticket to an art expo in his kitchen drawer. We'd gone together to that same exhibit, but this ticket was for a date after we went. Who the hell did he take? I'm losing my mind, and I don't know how to handle this. After seeing the messages on his laptop, I couldn't stop myself from thinking about every little thing he'd done since we started dating. Everything felt like it could mean something else now. I told myself I needed to say something to him, but the timing never felt right. One night, we were at his place having dinner. He cooked pasta, and while we were eating, I noticed him glancing at his phone every few minutes. He wasn't even trying to hide it this time. It was just sitting there on the table, but the screen was facing down. "Why do you always do that?" I asked. He looked up, confused. "Do what?" "Put your phone face down every time I'm around." He laughed a little and said, "What? Am I not allowed to keep my phone down?" I told him it just seemed weird, like he was hiding something. He told me I was being ridiculous and asked if I was one of those girls who needed to go through her boyfriend's phone to feel secure. I told him no, but I couldn't drop it. "It's just, you're always on it, even when we're hanging out. It's like you're more interested in that than me sometimes." He sighed and said, "It's just work stuff, okay? Or group chats. I'm not texting anyone else if that's what you're thinking." I didn't push it further that night because I didn't want to ruin the evening, but the conversation stuck with me. The next time we went out, we were at this bar he liked. He kept disappearing to the bathroom. The first time I didn't think much of it, but then he did it again 15 minutes later. And then again. After the third time, I started watching him more closely. When he got up, I casually glanced at his chair. His phone wasn't there. When he came back, I asked him about it. "Are you okay? You've gone to the bathroom like 3 times already." He laughed and said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why? Are you keeping count?" I shrugged it off, but it didn't sit right with me. Another time, I tried testing him a bit. We were at his place again, and I brought up a coworker of mine who'd recently been cheated on. I made it sound casual, like it was just a random story. "She caught him because he left his laptop open," I said. "Can you imagine?" He didn't even look up from what he was doing. "People who snoop like that deserve to find something," he said. That answer didn't sit well with me. What if they're not snooping? What if it's just there in front of them? He finally looked at me and said, "I don't know, maybe they're just looking for a reason to start drama." I didn't know what to say to that, so I let it go. Then there was the time we went grocery shopping together. While we were walking through the aisles, a woman passed us and gave him a look. Not just a quick glance, she actually stopped for a second before walking away. I asked him, "Do you know her?" He shook his head. "No, why?" "She was looking at you like she recognized you or something." He laughed and said, "Maybe I just have one of those faces." I wanted to believe him, but my gut told me there was more to it. A few days later, I tried talking to one of my friends about everything. I didn't tell her all the details, just enough for her to know I was suspicious. She told me I needed to trust my instincts and just ask him outright, but I didn't know how to bring it up without sounding crazy. That's when I decided I'd try to watch his behavior more closely. The next time we were at his place, I pretended to forget something in my bag and went to grab it while he was in the shower. I checked the desk where his laptop usually was, but it wasn't there. The drawer was locked. It wasn't locked before. When he came out, I asked, "Hey, why'd you lock your drawer?" He looked at me like I was asking a dumb question. "Because I keep work stuff in there." "Why?" "Since when do you lock it?" He shrugged. "I don't know, I just started. What's with all the questions?" I told him it was nothing, but now I was sure he was hiding something. Later that same night, we were watching a movie and his phone buzzed. He picked it up and immediately got up from the couch. "Be right back," he said, heading toward the kitchen. I could hear him whispering, but I couldn't make out what he was saying. When he came back, I asked, "Who was that?" "Just my boss," he said quickly. "At this hour?" "Yeah, some last-minute thing, don't worry about it." That's when I started making plans to confront him. I couldn't keep brushing this stuff off anymore. I had to know the truth. I knew I had to confront him eventually, but every time I tried to imagine it, my mind would blank. I didn't know how to start. I decided I'd do it over dinner again, thinking maybe being in public would stop either of us from making a huge scene. Spoiler, it didn't. We went to this new barbecue place he'd been talking about. From the moment we sat down, I could feel the tension. He was scrolling through the menu like nothing was wrong, and I was sitting there trying to find the courage to bring it up. While we were waiting for the food, I finally said, "We need to talk about something." He looked up, confused. "What's up?" I hesitated, then said, "I've noticed some things lately, like weird things." He laughed a little, like I was joking. "Weird things? Like what?" I started listing everything I'd noticed. The makeup, the locked drawer, the ticket, the phone always being face down. I didn't even get halfway through before he cut me off. "Okay, hold on," he said, putting his hand up. "Are you seriously keeping a list of all the random shit I do? That's insane." "It's not random," I shot back. "It all points to something." "Like what?" "You tell me," I said. He leaned back in his chair and sighed. "You think I'm cheating on you, don't you?" I didn't answer right away. "I think something's going on and you're not being honest with me." The waiter came over to drop off our food, and we both went quiet until he walked away. As soon as he was gone, he said, "I can't believe this. I've done nothing but treat you right, and you're over here playing detective." "Don't act like I'm crazy," I said. "You know exactly why I'm asking this." He grabbed his drink and took a sip before saying, "This is ridiculous. You're making something out of nothing." "Then explain it," I said. "Explain why there's makeup in your bathroom. Explain the ticket to the exhibit. Explain the messages on your laptop." He stared at me for a second, then said, "The makeup is mine. I already told you that. The ticket was a gift I got for someone at work but ended up not giving it to them. And the messages? Those were from my cousin." "Bullshit," I said. "Your cousin doesn't send you good morning texts." He slammed his drink down on the table and I jumped. "You're unbelievable," he said. "Do you even hear yourself right now? You're accusing me of cheating because my cousin texted me?" "Don't try to gaslight me," I said. "You know what this looks like." He pushed his chair back and stood up. "I'm not doing this. If you're gonna sit here and accuse me of shit I didn't do, I'm leaving." "Fine," I said. "Walk away, just like I knew you would." He grabbed his jacket and stormed out of the restaurant. I just sat there, staring at his half-eaten plate of food, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. After a few minutes, the waiter came over and asked if everything was okay. I told him I needed the check and left. The worst part was, as I was walking back to my car, I kept thinking about what he said. Was I overreacting? Was I being paranoid? But then I remembered everything. The makeup, the ticket, the messages, and I knew I wasn't imagining things. When I got home, I saw a message from him. "Sorry I walked out, but I can't deal with this right now. We'll talk later." I didn't reply. What was there to say? The day after he stormed out of the restaurant, I got a call from him around noon. I didn't want to answer, but I knew avoiding it wouldn't solve anything. "Hey," he said, "we need to talk about last night." I told him to go ahead. "Not over the phone," he said. "Can you come over later?" I agreed, but I wasn't looking forward to it. When I got to his place, he opened the door like nothing had happened. He even smiled at me. I didn't return it. We sat on his couch and he started with, "Listen, I don't know what's been going on with you lately, but it feels like you don't trust me." "Gee, I wonder why," I said. He ignored the sarcasm and kept talking. "I've been thinking about what you said, and I get why some of it might look bad, but you're blowing it out of proportion." I cut him off. "Then explain it, all of it, and don't give me the same excuses as before." He leaned back, looking like he was trying to figure out what to say. Finally, he said, "The messages you saw, that was a friend. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd react like this." "A friend," I repeated. "What kind of friend?" "Just a friend," he said. "We've known each other for years. She's married, for God's sake." "Then why didn't you just say that in the first place?" He hesitated. "Because it's none of your business who I talk to." I couldn't believe he said that. "Are you serious right now? You're my boyfriend. Of course it's my business." He shook his head. "This is exactly why I didn't want to tell you. You're making it into something it's not." I asked about the makeup again. This time he didn't even bother with the "it's mine" excuse. He said it belonged to a coworker who'd left it in his car after a work party. "And you just decided to keep it in your bathroom?" I asked. "I forgot it was there," he said. I moved on to the ticket. He sighed and said, "I told you I got it for a coworker." "That's not what you said last time," I pointed out. "Last time you said you didn't use it." He glared at me. "So what? Does it matter? I didn't go with anyone, okay?" I knew he was lying, but I didn't have any proof. I asked why he was always locking his drawer now. He just said he didn't feel comfortable with me going through his stuff. I'm not going through your stuff, I said. You're just hiding things. He stood up and said, I can't do this right now. I'm done explaining myself. I told him I wasn't leaving until I got some real answers. He grabbed his keys and said, fine, then let yourself out whenever you're done. He left, slamming the door behind him. I sat there for a few minutes trying to calm down. Then I started looking around his apartment. On the coffee table, there was a receipt from a restaurant I'd never been to with him. The date was a week ago. I picked it up and saw it was for 2 people. I checked the trash can and found a wine bottle, half empty. We never drank wine together. He always said he wasn't into it. By the time I left his apartment, I was convinced more than ever that he was hiding something. That night, he called me again, but I didn't answer. He left a voicemail saying, if you're not going to trust me, maybe we shouldn't be together. I didn't call him back. I didn't even know what to say anymore. Commenters. Commenter 1. Girl, you should have dumped him the second your friend matched with him. Why did you even stick around? OP. I know I should have, but I wanted to believe him. I thought maybe I was just overthinking. Commenter 2. The makeup thing is so sus, like, really? A puff for dark circles? What a joke. OP. Right? Who the hell even says that? I can't believe I bought that excuse for a second. Commenter 3. This guy is a walking red flag. The Art Expo ticket sealed it for me. He's trash. OP. Yeah, that ticket. I think that's what made me realize he was lying about everything else. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.